Good afternoon, everyone. I know it's towards evening. I promised you that I would show you the zucchini bread after I made it, after I just got it out of the oven a few minutes ago. And I can't cut into it yet because it's still a little hot, but I want to get it out of the pan and put it on the cooling rack. And I know you're going to question why it didn't rise very high. Well, we don't use real baking soda or baking powder because of the aluminum, so I did a substitute, which the substitute is not going to let it rise real high. But still, it rose a little bit. I had to divide it up in two 9 by 5 inch pans. And as you can see, it got real brown on the bottom, brown on the top, and it looks very good. It took a long time to prep it and to get it made because there was a lot of ingredients. There's 13 ingredients in this zucchini bread, including the zucchini. And it's very... Sure, I can cut it for you. Hi, Erlene. Here's my zucchini bread. I can cut it for you. Let me find a bread and butter knife here. Bread and bagel. I can cut a piece for you. I'm not real good at cutting it, but I'll cut a piece off for you. It's not real, like I said, it's not cooled down completely yet. There, I'll let you see what it looks like. There's what it looks like. You can see it. I can probably put this down a little bit, or I can raise this. Let me put this down just a little. Might be able to see it better. There we go. There, can she see it? That's what it looks like cut into. It turned out pretty good, didn't it, Erlene? And like I said, without the real, using the baking powder, baking soda that's got the aluminum in them, I used the EnerG. And I kept watching it to see if it would rise a little bit. And you had to divide it up between the two pans, the 9 by 5. And I used glass bread pans. And I haven't done my dishes yet because I wanted to wait till I got them out of the pan so I could see how they would be. I'm going to take a little bit off of the corner of this and I'm going to see what it tastes like. I know it should probably have butter or something on it, but I want to taste it. Wow. Very good bread. Very good zucchini bread. And my food processor has a blade that's a shredder on one side and slicing on the other. I used a shredded blade and put my zucchini. I probably wouldn't have had to peel the zucchini, but I did. Peeled it, dropped it in through the top, and it shredded the whole thing. You have used aluminum free. I know you can get it. It's a little expensive, but I'm a little hesitant to use it. I'm not really sure how good it really is. I'd rather use the EnerG. I suppose I could use the aluminum free. Hi, Jonathan. I could use the aluminum free, but I've chosen to use the EnerG. But you can see that that's what the bread looks like cut into. Doesn't it look? It looks real good. Look at that. I'm really pleased with it. Yep, I made some bread. Well, like I said, without using a real baking powder and baking soda, it's not going to rise as high. It does rise a little bit, but you got it at a health food store. I think, and I looked on Amazon's app. They do have it at Amazon too. So I'm going to have to. I could buy it from Amazon if I really wanted to. I just have chosen not to. I want to use my EnerG up because EnerG is a baking powder, baking soda substitute, and basically, it's soy-free, dairy-free, it's non-GMO, and it's vegan. That's why I use it. And it's white, just like your baking powder and baking soda. It just doesn't have all the properties in it that your baking powder and baking soda have. You know, they have properties in it that we shouldn't be putting into our body. You'll have to check it out. Yeah, Erlene uses the EnerG too. I can show you what the cans look like. One's baking soda, one's baking powder substitute, but this is what they look like. EnerG. You can say it's gluten-free, wheat-free, dairy-free, sodium-free, and it's vegan. And I got this on Amazon. Amazon does carry this. And this is a substitute. Basically what you do with it is whatever your recipe calls for, oh, you know the brand, whatever your recipe calls for, you just double it. Like if it calls for a teaspoon of baking powder or a teaspoon of baking soda, you double it. You put twice as much in of the EnerG. So that's what I had to do. The one called for, let's see, I think it was 2 teaspoons of, no, it was 1 teaspoon of baking soda, so I put 2 teaspoons of that in, and I think baking powder was a half a teaspoon or something. It was less. So, yeah, it was a half a teaspoon, so I just put a teaspoon of that in. So whatever it called for, I just doubled it. And it's real good. It's a real good product. I'm going to have to order more of it. You know, it's getting down. But, because you use a little bit more than you do. But it's safer. It's better for you than what you buy in the store. You know, what you buy in the store is all got aluminum in it. And you don't want to put that in your body. It's horrible. It's really bad for you. And in case you're wondering, I've got an apron on. When I made this, I wanted to make an apron because I've got my good Sabbath clothes on because I had gone to the store and I come back and started making it and I didn't want to get my clothes dirty. So, but we had to be very, very careful what we put into our bodies nowadays because the manufacturers don't care. They're out to sell the product. And they don't care whether you get sick or not. They're going to sell the product. They're going to put into it what they normally put into it, and you have to deal with it. And the problem of it is, most people won't check their labels. They won't look to see what it has in it. Cornstarch or any of those. We don't use cornstarch either. This has arrowroot in it, which was optional. It also has flax seeds in it, which were optional, but I put both of those in there. I've got arrowroot. I've got tapioca flour. All that stuff is real good. Yes, they do. They absolutely do. Hi, Sarah. Good to see you. This is zucchini bread that I made. I cut a little bit off so you can see. This is what it looks like when you cut the end off. Now, I want you to understand, Sarah, that it didn't rise like it normally would because we don't use real baking soda. We use a substitute. Oh, blessings to you too. But it's still, I took a bite out of it. This is what I cut off, and I took a bite out of it, and it is so good. It has white sugar. It calls for white sugar. I don't use white sugar. I used cane sugar, Morena, I think it was, and it did use a little bit of brown sugar, so I put a little bit of that in there too. But yeah, I know, it doesn't look good. I was really happy that it was in there an hour and 10 minutes, and I've got it cooling on a wire rack that I bought today because they wanted it on a wire rack. But it really looks good. You know, I've been wanting to make my own bread, and zucchini is cheap enough. You know, I think it took a whole zucchini and a little bit of another one because it was supposed to be 2.5 cups of shredded zucchini, and those are just coming on. I have a shredder slicer blade for my food processor. It shreds on one side and slices on the other. I just put the shredder side up, dropped the zucchini in from the top, turned it on, and it shredded it real fine. So I'm real pleased with that because it had to be shredded. I know how else to shred it because I said it needed to be shredded. Now, I probably wouldn't have had to peel it. I did. Next time, I think when I make this, I'll just cut the ends off and not peel it. But it still came out good. It looks good. It got nice and brown. And 325 oven for an hour and 10 minutes. Now, there is another zucchini bread that I haven't made yet that Erlene has made, and that's got carrot and apple in it, which would probably be good too. But I like this one too because this has got zucchini in it. It's got your baking soda, baking salt. It's got your baking powder. I did not use cinnamon. I used cardamom instead of cinnamon. Let's see. It's got unsweetened applesauce in it. I bought applesauce today. I think the unsweetened applesauce gives it the moisture it needs. Took a cup of the unsweetened applesauce, which was organic. Of course, I says white sugar. It's got brown sugar in it. It's got vegetable oil. I put olive oil in it, and some of the vanilla, non-alcoholic vanilla, and that's basically all it has in it. And I think it turned out really good. Oh, you just got home. It's raining. Oh boy, my. You got the rain. You get a lot of rain in the summer, but I'm really pleased that this turned out as well as it did. And when I was putting it in the pans, I take a little bit and put put a little bit in one and then turn around and put the same amount in another one. So I kind of evened it out a little bit. I didn't want to make too much in one and not enough in the other. And I think they look real good. For me, they turned out perfect. And I'm actually pleased that I made something that didn't have to use yeast. And it's vegan and very healthy. And you can see it looks good. From what I cut off, it looks real good. Got a beautiful color too, a beautiful brown color. And like I said, I've never really had zucchini very much. But I thought, well, I'll make zucchini bread because I like making my own bread. Oh, I just bought this today. I didn't have an apron to wear, and I thought, I've got to buy me an apron. You know, I knew there was something I always needed to buy, so I bought this apron today. Well, yeah, it is good for breakfast or dessert. Absolutely, absolutely. I like the way it looks. It's perfect for me. It looks real good. I'm going to post this up on Facebook, just the way it is, because I wanted a slice cut off of it so you can see what it looks like. But I'm pleased with it. You know, even though I don't use the aluminum baking powder or baking soda, it still rose enough that I can eat it, I can cut into it, and I still have a good, solid bread to eat. And the loaf pans I use were glass. They're 9x5 loaf pans are glass, and I've got to wash them yet. And I had to grease and flour them first. I thought at first it was going to stick to the bottom of the pan, so I just took a knife and worked it all the way around, and then picked it up at the bottom and took it out of the pan and put it on this cooling rack to cool off. It does take a lot of prep work. I think I was here prepping for it for a long time before I could, because you have to use 2 separate bowls for your liquids and your flour. You got to, all the dry ingredients, you got to whisk them all together and leave that set aside. Then you get your wet ingredients and you blend them all up. Then you fold in the flour mixture, and then you put the zucchini in. Get that all until it's all moist. So it took a little time, took a little prep work, but I didn't mind it. I got it done, got this made, and I was able to come on here and show you what it looks like. I'm really happy with it, and you should try to make it too. I found this on allrecipes.com. It's a very, like I said, it's a lot more ingredients than I normally make on something, because I normally like something that maybe has 3, 4, 5 ingredients. So this has got, I think I counted 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. This has got 13 ingredients, which is an awful lot for bread, but it takes a lot more to make bread than, anyway. Well, I've got a bread machine, but that's been like the lazy man's way out. I thought, well, why not just start making bread that I can use loaf pans and make it from scratch and not use my bread machine. That way I'm not going to be lazy, because it doesn't always turn out in my bread machine either. Sometimes it doesn't rise like it should, and that's because the yeast probably is bad or something. But here, I didn't have to use yeast. I mean, when you find a bread that you don't have to use yeast, that's ideal, because all of them take yeast to make it rise. And as you can see, it did a little bit, not much, but it did rise a little bit. I don't need it real thick. I mean, and I'm sure I could have put this all in one pan, but it probably would have filled the pan right up and would have overflowed it, and didn't want that, because they said to divide it up into 2 9x5 loaf pans, so that's what I did. So I could even it out. And they're pretty much the same height. They look real good. I like the way it turned out. And like I said yesterday or last night, making your own food is the best way to go, because you know what's in it. You don't have to guess. Welcome to those coming on. And thank you for coming in and sharing this out. But if you make your own food, you know what you've got in it. I am one of these kind that when I go to the store, I take a look at all the ingredients on what I'm trying to buy. If I want to buy something, if it has way too many ingredients in it, I says, well, I don't need that. I'm just going to put it back. And I do. I set it back on the shelf. It belongs on the shelf. If somebody else wants to have it, because most people don't care about the ingredients. They'll put it in their cart and they'll not be pay no mind what's even in there. That's so sad. They need to. You just did that. You got to be conscious about what you put in your body, what you put in your mouth, because not everything you put into your mouth is going to be good for you. Like I said, it may taste good going down, but what's it going to do afterwards? it could be a problem afterwards. It could give you a nice big fat bellyache, you know, later on. You could get sick on it. So it's best to check your ingredients thoroughly to make sure that you're not putting something in your stomach that you cannot eat. It's really, yeah, the consequences are very dire, you know, and no, you can't digest it. And the problem of it is, that's why so many people are sick. It's because of what they're eating. They're not digesting a lot of the foods that they're eating, and they're eating the wrong foods to boot. They're not careful enough to make sure that they don't put the wrong foods in their body. But the thing of it is, they've been eating that same way their whole life. So it's not uncommon for them to continue to eat that way. They don't know any different. And you know, I didn't either for years. I didn't know any different either until over a year ago. I decided, well, I've got to do something about this. I'm harming my body. I'm not doing my body any good by putting things into it that aren't good for me. So that's why I started to change and do what I needed to do to lose the weight and get to feeling better, get the fat off my face, because I mean I was fat in the face, as everybody knew, and I wanted to get the weight off and look better so I can get around a lot better. That's right. We got to be better stewards. We know that we have to have good stewardship, not only of our bodies but everything else as well. We have to be good stewards. And how are we going to do that if we're not willing to take time to check the ingredients on the foods to see what there are in there? Because they are so full of chemicals, preservatives. You know, the foods I make don't have preservatives, but I put them in airtight containers and I get them used up. But anyway, they have a lot of preservatives in them, and that's what keeps them. But they're not really that good for you. They put, I mean, and like I said, the stuff they put in those foods, you can't pronounce most of them. They're real long, got a lot of letters in it. Oh, you bought lots of greens? Oh, cool. I'm gonna do that one of these days too, is get stuff at the farmer's market. That's always nice you can buy a lot of stuff there, you know, tomatoes and things like that, you know, cabbage and lettuce and stuff like that. But you got to be so careful too, you know. There is one farmer's market here where they grow everything organic. They don't spray anything. They don't use any chemicals of any kind. So you know the food there would be good. That's what you're looking for. However, I understand this, that organic is not suitable for everyone, because not everybody can afford organic. I know I can't afford everything myself because they are expensive. But I do try, yeah, I know it is tough. I do try to go organic as much as possible. I can't overdo, but I will try to get some organic to help the situation, you know, because I feel that is the best way to go. And if you can do it, if you can't do it, well then be very careful what you buy. Make sure that it's not loaded with a lot of chemicals. Wash your stuff real good first before you use it. Yeah, none of us are perfect. Absolutely, you're right. We're not perfect. But most of everything I buy that's organic, it's already washed and everything. You don't have to wash it because there's no chemicals on it. That's the problem with the stuff that they spray with the chemicals. You have to wash them before you eat them because they're all full of the weed spray and the bug spray and all this and that. You don't want to put that in your body. You don't want to ingest that. Yes, I know what you mean. I wish I could do that here, but where I'm at, I can't grow my own veggies. Now, when I was married to my ex-husband, we had a garden plot in Vancouver and grew a lot of vegetables. I love that, but I can't do that here. You know, I wish I could, but I just can't grow a garden here because I have no room for it. So I make do. You know, I try to do the best I can. I can just go to the farmer's market, get what I need, and I may try to grow some tomatoes in a pot. I haven't tried that yet, but I might do that too. Thank you for sharing this out and inviting your followers. As you can see, I've cut into the bread, one loaf of it, cut into it. You can see what it looks like. It's got flax seeds in it. You might be able to see the flax seeds, I think. Yeah, you can see them. No. Well, I could probably do containers, but I just haven't taken the time to do it. I know it'd be a lot of work. I was going to get a patio tomato and put it out in the patio, but I'm afraid that my Pomeranian mix, the one I just got in April, that he probably would chew them up because he chews on everything. So I hesitate doing that because if it gets tomatoes on, he'd probably chew the leaves out before it even got tomatoes. So, and I don't want to invest money in a plant that he may end up chewing up anyway. It's just got the flax seeds. They were optional, but I did put them in there. Arrowroot was also optional, but I did put that in there too. Arrowroot is a thickening agent. I use arrowroot. Tapioca flour, it works the same way, but I've got arrowroot, I've got both. But it did say optional. And I thought, well, I've got flax seeds. I've got them in the freezer in a glass container. I just got the container out, measured out what I needed. I think it was a cup, I believe here. Or no, what was? No, excuse me. 3 tablespoons. I just measured out 3 tablespoons of flax seeds and put them in it. Yes, it is. It's like cornstarch because we cannot use cornstarch. The cornstarch you get in the store because of everything that's in it. So you can buy arrowroot or use tapioca flour. They're both the same thing. They'll do the same thing. They're both the same. Kind of the same properties that they're both thickening agents. Oh, yeah. I love flax seeds. I love chia seeds too. But when it said optional, I thought, well, shoot, I might as well put flax seeds in here. That's going to make it a little bit different. Flax seeds are good for you, too. They're small like the chia seeds are. But, like I said, they don't keep unless you keep them in the freezer. I got to get me some water. Because, as I understand it, flax seeds will go rancid. So you got to keep them in the freezer. Yeah, lots of fiber, absolutely. That's what we need. We need lots of fiber. Oh, you're very, very welcome. I learned that from other ones watching Periscope too. Stacy Klein, as I understand it, no, hemp is not. I have some hemp too, but I'm not using it because it's almost like marijuana. You don't want to use it. So I don't use hemp at all. I either use flax seeds or chia seeds, And I didn't know that about hemp, but you just start doing your research on it, you find out it's not very good either. So, and I've got a jar of it here, but I can't use it. After I went and bought it, I thought, well, these would be good. But then when I found out what hemp, I should have probably done my research on hemp first, but I didn't. Unfortunately, I bought it without doing research, and now I can't use them. But you got to be so careful what you put in your body. You got to make sure you put the right things in your body, things that aren't going to harm you. I didn't either until I did investigation, until I started doing research on it. We have to be very, very careful. We don't want to put things in our body that are harmful. And I think hemp is harmful, just like your marijuana and that would be. You shouldn't be putting that in your body. I'm going to have to step away and blow my nose real quick, and I'll be right back. Okay, I'm back. Thank you all for coming in and sharing this out. As you can see, this is what the bread looks like already cut. You can see those little black things in there. Those are the flax seeds. They were optional, but I put them in there anyway. And if you want, I can give you the recipe, although I'm going to post this up on Facebook. So the recipe will be there. Erlene's got a vegan page, and I've got a vegan page. And I'm going to post it up there on both of them. It calls for 3 cups of all-purpose flour, 3 tablespoons of flax seeds, which are optional, like I said, 1 teaspoon of salt, and I use the Himalayan pink salt, 1 teaspoon of baking soda, and I use this instead. This is the EnerG, so I use 2 teaspoons of that. 2 teaspoons of ground cinnamon it calls for. I use cardamom instead of cinnamon. That's a good substitute for cinnamon because cinnamon is not good for you either. Okay. Yeah, that's right. And let's see, 1/2 teaspoon of baking powder, and I used a teaspoon of this, the EnerG, and 1/2 teaspoon of arrowroot powder, and that was optional as well. But I had the arrowroot. I said I might as well use it. I took a cup of unsweetened applesauce, and I bought a container of organic applesauce today and used that. And a cup of white sugar. I don't use the white refined sugar. You should stay away from that. So I used cane sugar, pure cane sugar. It's Marina, but you can get it at Walmart. It's not exactly white. It's like an off-white, but that doesn't matter. It's still okay. It says 1 cup of packed brown sugar. Now, some say you shouldn't use brown sugar, but I put it in here anyway. I could have probably used date sugar. It might have really made it dark. I don't know. 3/4 cup of vegetable oil, which I used extra virgin olive oil, organic. 2 teaspoons of the non-vanilla extract, or non-alcoholic vanilla, and 2.5 cups of shredded zucchini. And like I said, I've got my food processor has a shredder blade that I just dropped it in through the top. I've got a thing that goes up here, dropped it through the top, and just turned it on and it shredded it. And it did a real good job because you want it real thin too. You don't want all the zucchini, but you can see it. So it's shredded real fine throughout. 2.5 cups of that. And then you have to whisk all your dry ingredients together first and set them aside. Then after you set them aside, then you get your wet ingredients like your olive oil, your vanilla extract, and let's see, applesauce, and your sugars. You mix that all together, and then you fold the flour in. Oh, you're wondering if it was chunky. Well, anyway, it came out real good. And then I divided it up between 2 9x5 pans. I have 2 loaf pans that are. This is never mind. This is the one of them I used, but this is the loaf pans I have, glass, and I used 2 of those and divided the dough up between the 2 of them, the batter or whatever, in 325 oven for 70 minutes. So I set my timer for 1 hour and 10 minutes, and it came out flat the way it is right now. Didn't have to leave it in there any longer, and it looks real good. As you can see, the slice that I cut off, look how good that looks. And it's moist. I think what makes it moist is the applesauce kind of moist, and it's not dry at all. Although I probably still I'll put this in something so it doesn't dry out anyway. But doesn't it look good? I mean, you can tell that it's got flax seeds. You can look real close. You can see the flax seeds in there. So you can see those in there. Flax seeds, like I said, if I can put flax seeds in anything, it says optional, I'm gonna put it in there. Hi, Richard. Good to see you. Here's my zucchini bread I made. Can you see it, Richard? I already cut a piece off, and you can see the little black things in there. Those are flax seeds. They were optional, but I put them in there. And it's got zucchini in it, and it's got cane sugar. It's got brown sugar. I've got ground cardamom in it. Of course, your baking powder and baking soda, which I don't use the real thing because of what they have in it. So I use this in the place to substitute, and I use twice as much of this as what it calls for. And it's got unsweetened applesauce in it, which is more organic. I bought a jar of that today, organic. And it's got your olive oil in it, vanilla extract. I got the non-alcoholic vanilla, and 2.5 cups of your shredded zucchini. And it was simple to make. Just took a lot of time, a lot of prep work. But I'm real happy with the results. Real happy with the results. Because I've always wanted to make my own bread without using a bread machine. Because like I said, it's kind of like a lazy man's way out. You got to do a little bit more work with this. But it's worth it, because look what you have out of it. It's real good, and zucchinis are not that expensive either. And it's something you keep in your pantry, and I'll use them up, and then I'll get some more as I need them. And as I run out of flour, I just happen to have hi, River, good to see you. Here's as you can see, my bread that I cut. If you can see the little black things in there, that's flax seeds. Somebody wanted me to cut it off so they could see what it looks like. And I've got it cooling on this rack. It's got 13 different ingredients in it, including the zucchini. Blessings to you, River. This is the little piece I cut off on the end. I've already tasted it. It is very, very good. I have never had zucchini bread. This is my first time. I wasn't sure I was ever going to like zucchinis because I'd never had them up until recently. But I thought, well, I'm going to get some zucchinis. I'm going to make my own bread with it. And I'm really pleased with the results. It came out really nice. Came out nice and brown. And that's what I'm really pleased about. I didn't know how it was going to come out. You know, when you do a recipe the first time, you're not really sure if you're going to get it right or not, because sometimes it's a lot of trial and error. I know it is with me. Trial and error to get it right. So, and I thought, well, if it doesn't turn out this time, I'll know what I've done wrong and I'll do it better the next time. Yes, it is. I tasted, I took a little bit off of here, and it's really good. It'd be real good, you know, with butter on it, or jam, or even peanut butter. It'd be real good with any of that on it as toast in the morning. Oh, and it's, you know, and like I said, I didn't take the lazy man's way out this time. I sat here, I stood in the kitchen. I would say probably an hour prepping this, getting it all ready, and then got it in the oven. It took an hour and 10 minutes, and I sat down and I was doing things, my stuff I normally do for the homeless. I was sitting there doing that and waiting for this to get done so I could get it out and show you guys. But I love it. I'm glad that I took the time to do this. I hesitated in doing it on Friday because Fridays are hectic enough as it is, but I thought, well, hi, good to see you, Crystal. I got home from Walmart soon enough, had my lunch, and then I thought, well, I'm going to sit down, or I'm going to put my apron on that I just bought today and make this and see how it comes out. And I'm pleased with this recipe. This is a keeper, an actual keeper. It's a recipe that I will make again and again and again. And if you like zucchini, try it, because your kids would like it too, because it's real good. It's sweet. I mean, it's got cane sugar in it and a little bit of brown sugar, because I don't use the refined sugar. We don't use that. But everything in it is healthy for you. There's nothing that you can't have. And not only that, I know exactly what's in it. Oh, thank you. Yeah, I just got it today because I didn't have an apron. And these are my Sabbath clothes I have on, because when I go to the store, I put on a long skirt and a top, and I didn't want to get it dirty. And I did feel like changing my clothes when I got home because I wanted to get started on this. So I said, well, I'll just get this apron and wear it. Oh, thank you. I like it too. You know, it saves getting my clothes dirty. So I'm going to probably be wearing this apron from now on whenever I do cooking scopes, regardless of whether I wear my Sabbath clothes or not. Because I'm the kind of person that makes a mess when I cook. I think we all do. But I'm glad that I could come in here and do this, because it is amazing when you can make your own foods. I'm having the best time ever. And like I said last night, this makes me happy to be able to come in here and do this for you. I love being able to share what I've made with other people to see if they want to do the same thing. You know, because I've been on a journey for well over a year now. It's been a long journey that I intend to stay on. I want to keep going with it. Hi, good to see you. It took an hour and 10 minutes. So, and I didn't even have to test it when it came out. They say you're supposed to stick a toothpick in the middle. I took it out and test it with a toothpick then, but it was done. I could tell it was done because it was good and brown. And I started smelling it, so I knew it was done. See, my oven has a timer on it, and when the timer's done, it beeps at me. So I knew it was done, so then I took it out. So it's an hour and 10 minutes on 325. So, but you have two 9x5 loaf pans, and you divide the batter up between the two, because you don't want to fill it. And like I said, because I don't use baking powder and baking soda, it's not going to raise as high, but it did raise a little bit, and that's fine for me. It still looks like bread. I mean, I'm pleased with it. I'm not going to use my bread machine ever again. If I can get by without using it, I'm going to make this zucchini bread. It's healthy, and I mean, I'm going to have a lot of fun eating this. I'm still eating on my fudge too. You know, and I enjoy eating that too, and my chia seed pudding. And I enjoy eating what I make. However, there have been a few flops I've had, and Erlene could probably attest to that. She's had some too, where it didn't taste as good as you would have liked to taste. So you try it again and it still isn't very good. So then you scrap it and say, forget it. I'm not going to bother. I've had that myself. Oh, yeah, doesn't it though? It really, and if you can, I'll hold this up close and you can see there are those little black things in there. Those are flax seeds because it called for flax seeds, which was optional, but I put the flax seeds in. And I thought, I might just as well put them in there. And it's got a real good texture. I like the flavor of it. I've already taken a little bite out of this. It's really good. I love it. You know, and I didn't ever think, oh, thank you. I didn't ever think I would like zucchini bread. But I thought, you know, I'm going to give this a whirl. I found it on allrecipes.com, and I thought, well, I'm just going to go ahead and try and make this. There's a lot of prep work, a lot of time. It takes a lot of time to do it. But at least I did it before it got real, real hot. So I got it done. So now I can put it in something and keep it in the refrigerator and eat a little bit on it every day. And I know it's going to be healthy. Yes, I am. Very much so. I've been a vegan for about a year now. That's why anything I make is in here is in vegan. Yesterday I had over 2,000 in my, or last night I had over 2,000 in my Periscope because I made something vegan that they were interested in watching. I don't know if I'll get that many today. Oh, thank you, thank you. But, oh, there's Bob. Hi, Bob. Good to see you. Is Dee going to come on? Here's the bread I made. I cut a piece off of it. And you can see those little black things in there, Bob? Those are flax seeds. They were optional, but I put them in there. And now you may wonder why it didn't rise very high. Well, I don't use baking powder or baking soda. I use a substitute, which doesn't have all the chemicals in it that your baking powder and baking soda has. It'll rise a little bit, but it won't rise to the top. But I used 2 pans because that's what they said to use. 2 loaf pans. They were glass dishes. And I've already tasted it, and it's really, really good. It's got everything in it that we can have and nothing that we can't have. Nothing that's going to make you sick. But, you know, there again, it's everything in moderation. Good to see you. Welcome. Everything in moderation, you know. You want to be careful what you eat. Don't eat too much of one thing, like the fudge. Really? Already? Oh, my goodness. I guess putting vegan in front of my... Good. Thank you for checking, Erlene. Putting vegan in front of my thing is really drawing the people in here. And this time of day, I guess, is doing it. I didn't expect that. I didn't expect to get that many in here. You know, that's amazing. But, you know, I'm happy about that. I'm happy that I'm able to get people in here that want to live a healthy lifestyle. Because, you know, it's about time that people start living healthy and not start and stop being so sick. Oh, 1,025 plus? Wow. Because the world is so sick because people are eating all the wrong foods. You know, I gave up meat and I gave up cheese. I gave up fish. I gave up regular milk, dairy milk, and I drink the nut milks. And I'm happy Sabbath. But those that are happy with Sabbath will be coming on. And yes, they are. Plants are the best. And you hear Leslie talk that she talks about plants. She's 90% plant eater. Plants are the best. After all, that's what God gave us in the garden. He gave us plants to eat. We shouldn't be eating the meat. I know the meat was brought into the garden, but that was only after sin came about that men started killing the animals and started eating them. You know, if you knew what those animals went through to be put on our dinner table, you wouldn't want to eat them. They suffer so much. And you know something, when you think about it, they have got feelings too. They've got a family, they've got feelings too. And why should they be taken away from their families to be put on people's dinner tables? Think about it. You know, I don't want to eat an animal anymore. You know, I've given it up, and I feel so much better about it. You know, walking away from that meat like I did, it was a little hard at first because I was a meat eater. Not a lot, but ate enough. But walking away from it was a little difficult at first. But since I've been on this journey for over a year now, I can walk away and not look back. And that's one good thing about it. I've gotten myself to the point that I don't care about the meat. I don't want to look at it. It looks gross to me. I won't touch it. I don't need it. And I figure if I want meat, I'll make my own burgers like chia seed or chickpea burgers, or you can make black bean burgers or tofu burgers or anything like that. Make them yourself, and you know what you have. You know, I used to eat a lot of hamburger, but when you think about it, you see all that blood that is on there. You know what that blood is. You don't want to eat that stuff. You're not supposed to, and the Bible talks about not eating the blood. But yet, people will do that and not even think about it. And pork, you can't even cook that enough to get rid of all the worms and everything inside of it, the parasites. So that's a no-no anyway. Well, I gave up pork years and years ago. Once I became baptized, I never had pork. But I still maintained eating fish. I still ate hamburgers, and I still ate chicken. Not a lot, but I still ate it. But now, forget it. I won't even touch it. Eggs, I don't need them. I don't need eggs at all, you know. In fact, if I find a recipe that calls for eggs, you know what I do? Either use flax meal, or chia seeds, and make an egg from that. You know, if it calls for 3 eggs, you just take I think it's 3 tablespoons of chia seeds to I think 9 tablespoons of hot water, because it's 3 tablespoons of water, I think, per 1 tablespoon of chia seeds. And you can make your eggs that way because they gel up. And they'll hold it together, because I've made stuff with chia seeds in them already, and it holds together. You've got to be resilient, and you've got to tell yourself you don't want to do what you're not supposed to do. You've got to be healthy. You've got to live this healthy lifestyle. Because when you think about it, we're not going to be eating the kind of stuff that people eat now in heaven. We're not going to have meat in heaven. Not at all. You're not going to have that stuff in heaven. So you might as well get rid of it now, because it'll be a lot easier, because we're going to have plants to eat in heaven. A lot of fruits. We're going to eat fruits off of the trees. Can you imagine eating fruits off of those trees? 12 types of fruit every month. Man, you know, I just can't wrap my arm around that one. And, you know, I love fruit. I don't think there's one fruit that I have never... Well, I can't say there isn't. Kiwis are kind of an acquired taste. They're a little tart for me. But you know something? Maybe in heaven I won't have to worry about that. You know, our taste buds will be different, and everything will be sweet. It'll just be marvelous. So we got to gear ourselves to eating a lot of plants and vegetables. That's what God wants us to eat, and that's what we should eat. It's a lot more healthier. They're better. You're better off. And if, like I said, if you can afford organic, that's the way to go. Not everybody can afford organic. I know I can't. Everything I buy is not organic. You know, it's hard. But I want to buy organic as much as I can, but I don't want to overstretch my budget either and do more than I can do. So I try to do what I can, limit myself, and eat what I can, but eat healthy. You don't have to have organic to eat healthy. You just have to be a little more conscious and have to wash your foods real good before you eat them. That's the only thing I can tell you to do, like apples, stuff like, well, oranges, you peel those, bananas, you peel those too, but apples, unless you peel them, you should wash them real good. So I eat the peeling, but I don't eat the seeds in the inside. Now, as I understand the apple seeds and stuff, they've got a little bit of arsenic in them. They say too much is bad for you. I core it. I don't eat the seeds. Now, some people will take the apples and they'll mix them up in the Vitamix, and they'll take core and all put in there, and stem. I said, well, I won't do that, because I don't want to put that stuff in my body. I'd just rather get rid of all that stuff. Just eat the good stuff. You know, I never peel my apples, you know, unless a recipe would call for it. But, you know, oranges, you don't want to eat that peeling, and of course pineapples the same way, and mangoes, you got to peel those. But have you ever tried peeling a mango? I did that one day. Oh my goodness. They are hard to peel. I haven't figured out the best way to peel a mango yet. And that's the fruit mango, not the mangoes that you grow in the garden. These are fruit mangoes, and they're the hardest thing to peel. They're good, but they're the hardest things to peel. So I got to be, you got to be careful. You know, maybe I need a special peeler for that or something. Anyway, but anyway, I'm glad I could come in here and show you this. I don't want to be too long, because I know it's going to be coming Sabbath for some people pretty soon, and I don't want to get into the Sabbath hours. But I wanted you to see that the bread did turn out real good. It is a recipe that I intend to make again. It is a keeper. I will take this. I missed that one comment you said, Erlene, about putting the same recipes on your page. You let me know what you want me to put on your page and what you don't want me to, because I don't want to put anything on your page that you're going to put up there too. Most of the time, I make something totally different than you anyway. I did love your, hi, good to see you. I did love the pizza that you posted on Facebook. That looks delicious. But if I see you posting anything on your page that you've made, I probably won't post it on, I just post it on my page. So if you make something, we both make the same thing, it probably would be best to post on our own pages. That way we're not double posting. But I will post this on your page, you know, And I'll leave you posts like the zucchini and the apple and carrot bread on your page, because that's your recipe, and this will be mine, you know. And I'll post this one because everybody likes to see it, you know. And I got a lot of comments about my recipe I made yesterday. Even Leslie thought it looked really good. She said that she loves those kind of. She uses Parmesan. She's a Parmesan family. And in case somebody's in here that was not in here last night, let me show you my Parmesan cheese. I used some of this today on my macaroni and cheese. It gave it a good crunch. So I will show you. This is my Parmesan cheese that I made last night. And it's just got a few ingredients in it. It's got almonds in it. It's got cashews in it. Nutritional yeast. Lemon juice. And I put garlic powder in it because I didn't have the herb and garlic seasoning. I don't really know what that is, so I just put garlic powder in it. It's still really good. I mean, my macaroni and cheese today was real crunchy because I put that up on top. It really made it crunchy, made it really good. I thought, well, I'm going to use this somehow. You could put it on spaghetti. You could put it on lasagna. You could probably even put it on pizza if you wanted to. Anything you wanted to put that, you know, you could put it on anything you wanted to. But anyway, I think I'm going to close this Periscope so I can get this up on Facebook, and I can get it up on YouTube because I want to put these in a container. But I thank you all for coming on and sharing this out with other people and being here for me. And now that Sabbath hours will be coming on pretty soon, I hope that you all have a blessed and happy Sabbath. And I will see you tomorrow. Bob is on now? Okay. Oh, he left mine, so I don't get it on here, so okay, I might go in there and watch his. So I'm gonna go ahead now, and I'm gonna sign off, but you listen for the whistle tomorrow. And I may come on with a prophecy scope tomorrow. I'm thinking about doing that since I haven't done one in a while, because Valerie said last night that she's been missing my prophecy scopes. So if the Lord gives me an indication on what I should talk about, I will come in tomorrow afternoon and I'll do a prophecy scope. But until the meantime, take care, God bless, bye-bye, and happy Sabbath.